Have you ever wondered why in some rooms you immediately feel more relaxed and comfortable? It could be the initial biophilic design choices in the room. What's biophilic design, you ask? Get ready to dive into the basics of this trending design concept and its related materials with Tiara, the events coordinator for USBG, and Theresa, the exhibit specialist, also hailing from the United States Botanic Garden here in Washington, D.C. During this program, they will share how they incorporate nature into their work, facilitating the unforgettable experiences centered in well being, sustainability, and the creation of unique connections between the natural world and human life. Welcome, Tiara and Theresa.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey. We are so excited to have you on. Y'all know how
Thanks for having us.
Excited. Before we dive into the info, we just love to know what was your journey like getting to USBG? Like, you work at the United States Botanic Garden, but what got you here?
I'll start. Well, I've been a special events coordinator on Capitol Hill for over 5 years now. And I always kept an eye on the USBG. Okay. I know that they had a comparable position to mine. And the aesthetic that I was longing for that brought me to the career of event planning was in that space, right? Color, texture, light.
Yeah.
I wanted a piece of that. So when an opportunity presented itself, I jumped on it, and everything's been great since.
Oh, and it has. Okay.
Thank you.
And it has, as a person who has personally experienced your events, it most certainly has. And I can't wait to see what you have to share for us today. How about you, Theresa?
So I came to the Botanic Gardens from the museum angle. So I've been working in the museum field for almost 20 years, fabricating and designing exhibits. And I always had an interest in plants, just house plants, growing, having my own garden. But actually working at the Botanic Garden, I've learned a ton about plants and really delved more into the world of plants.
Yeah.
So that's.
Yeah. And it's so cool because the exhibits that I've experienced, because of your work now, I think, wait a minute, what kind of material is that? Like I want to know now. So again, I'm really looking forward to the presentation about the materials and what you've used and what we can use. You all, this is just going to be a really great talk. So without further ado, if we'd like to start, we can start with Tiara. Sure. And we'll go from there.
Welcome to the basics of biophilic design. Let's talk about creating spaces with a specific intention: relaxation, resets, and overall well-being. What is biophilic design? So biophilic design is a concept that aims to connect people with nature through the event of spaces. Some of us already have some affiliation with this, right? You probably don't even know it. Think about your neighbor's house with that fabulous skylight that you love to visit. Or how about that corner in your grandmother's house with the potted plants? Fabulous. You remember. Or what about that aisle in that store, that homey store that you visit every weekend? You spend too much time there. Or even, listen, as a teenager, in my house, we had a brick wall in its entryway. It was my mother's favorite feature in the house. Like, my prom pictures was in front of this wall. That is biophilic design. It literally is our getting back to the basics of our innate connection to nature and what that does to the human body and psyche, right? Look at the placement of the chair and table, right? Look at what's around it. How would you feel in this space? Now, we could add some cushions to those chairs, but outside of that, I think All conversations would end well. I think all positive vibes would happen. Biophilic. Let's look at this word. So the word biophilic is a derivative of the ancient Greek word biophilia, which means the love of life. This is a universal term that we all can agree with, that we all thirst to feel, the love of life, to be happy in it, right? But we all know there are stages, there are phases, there are seasons where you really have to work hard to create and recreate your love of life. This design concept allows you to do just that. It allows you to be intentional in doing that. It's really a holistic approach to evoke tranquility and peace in us. It's medicine for the soul, like move over music. Now, why should we implement biophilic design? Well, I just touched on that a bit. It evokes a sense of calm and tranquility. But even more specifically, it can reduce your stress levels. Let's get that blood pressure together. Hello. It can promote physical, emotional, and intellectual well-being. Think about sitting in spaces where you're calm, you can read your book, you can really focus and hone in. Think about that outside. Think about that in nature. It can also improve the relationship between yourself and nature, right? Getting back to the basics. Oh my gosh, I recently saw a home video of my cousins and I playing in the leaves. I was probably 5, and my cousins were an array of ages, older and younger, and this was obviously our first time ever seeing leaves. I was mortified, but it made me think about the simple things. It made me think about the small pleasures that are readily available to us outside, right? And last but not least, it's aesthetically pleasing. It's fabulous. It's beautiful. I want to show you a quick video. Check this out. Look at this interior of this place. The trees. How calming is this? Now, this is outside of our region, but I did want to show this to you to give you an example of the trend. People get it. Isn't that beautiful? All right, now let's get to the how. How can we incorporate this into the spaces so that we can feel these feels, right? How can we make this happen? Well, we're going to tap into the principles. That's how. Number 1, sensory engagement. That's what it's all about. It's about tapping in to your 5 senses, gently tapping into all of them. The use of abundant greenery. Yes, yes, yes. This is a more is more situation. Heavy. The goal is to incorporate the world's outside natural components and bring it inside. So we want to go heavy with greenery. We want to see your plants, your tall plants, your small plants, your table plants, your desk plants, green, green, green. Even images and art on your wall of sceneries and greenery, they're strongly encouraged. Number 3, natural light. Well, that's simple. Open those drapes. Let's open those blinds. Let's open those skylights. We want to let in the natural light. Sun, moonlight, even a gloomy day like today, that is natural light. We want to get that vitamin D. It's healthy. It's also energy efficient, okay? And there is no light for a photo like natural light, okay? Number 4, the use of colors and hues, right? We want to use our earth tones when we're designing spaces for with a biophilic intention. Want to use your natural hues, your creams, your beiges, different shades of browns and greens, sage, for example, right? Number 5, flow in organic shapes. You may think, Tiara, what does this mean? This can be expressed through furniture. Listen, circular tables and curved couches, they are all the trend right now. And they're the trend because they mimic the natural flow of nature, the natural flow of the world. Think about a lake, how it flows naturally. So that's what that's about. We're getting away from just sharp corners on all of our furniture. This can also be expressed through the way you place your table, say for an event, think cocktail tables. How about we place them in a way that looks like a path, that makes you think that you're walking on a nature hike or in a park, for example. That's how we can express the flow in organic shapes. And last but not least, our natural materials. So my colleague Theresa will delve more into this in just a bit, but natural materials are always a plus. I mean, they can be used, some of them can be used and reused. They're super eco-friendly, and they certainly connect interior spaces to nature. Here's another quick video. Look how beautiful. Water features as well. This is just a different view of the same location. Is this not gorgeous? This is intentional. They get it. Wouldn't you love to be there? Fabulous. All right. Intentional biophilic design around your town. What did I say? People are doing this on purpose. Establishment, venue owners, they are appealing to the deeper part of consumers. They know what we need. They know what we're dealing with. They know that we're super duper tech heavy. So they are coming in to get back to what's really important and what really matters on the inside, right? For example, the first picture at the top, this restaurant is already outdoor seating. Do you see how they use a potted plant as a barrier between the outdoor seating and the sidewalk? That was intentional. Or how about this second area? This is an outdoor venue, concrete everywhere, but some professional chose to add greenery to the seating area because it's so inviting. It makes your mind think that it's soft and that it's plush and that it's cushy. You'll want to sit down and have a snack. You may kick back and bring out your book or something. They know this. This was intentional. And last but not least, this fabulous restaurant. Look at the windows, ceiling to floor windows. This allows an ample natural light. Of course, you have your vases with your greenery. And then there, what do we have there? Those organic curved chairs. This is on purpose. They get it. All right, let's get into events. My home away from home. USBG events. So listen, the venue is the decor, okay? You don't need any balloon streamers. You can throw away all of your traditional party decorations that you're used to because the venue is the backdrop, right? Now, congressionally sponsored events, which I manage, are by invitation only. But I'm always tickled to see people come in, their reaction, their awe to the place and the calming of it. Like, this is actually the multi-sensory experience that I mentioned earlier. It's the epitome of it, if you will. Like, even the clinking of champagne glasses will not kill your vibe. It's that awesome. And honestly, the conservatory, because of its beauty and aura, it makes a part of my job like so easy. Like the staging part of my job is chef's kiss because every table linen looks perfect. Every table setting is fabulous. Every staging of the tables is perfect because of the aura. It makes it a breeze. The space is just super duper inviting. Now, let's talk about creating your own event with a biophilic twist, right? We're going to do a 3-step planning process, okay? Let's start out with your theme. What's the theme of your event? You got to think about that. This is the central idea, right? This is the umbrella under which all of your event goals will be developed and met. This is like your brainstorming session to get you in the idea of what natural elements you want to involve inside of your event. Next, your attendees. Who are they? Who are these people? Whose senses are we trying to pique? Who do we need to help? Is this a group of moms? Well, if it is, I would say we're going to go heavy with the calming colors because they deserve the zen. No? How about your weekly book club? Let's go ahead and throw down some eco-friendly beanbag chairs and let's put them in a circular position. We're sitting, we're calm. We can put some flower pots around as well. And the toughest of them all, what about an event for young people? Let's say teenagers. Okay, let's throw, good luck bringing the calming effect to them, but we're going to try, right? Let's throw out the red carpet for the teens and let's roll out a grass carpet. And let's line that grass carpet with floor potted plants with accent colored flowers, right? The goal is to meet people where they are, but to bring them where you want them to go. All audiences can be engaged in this design concept. And last but not least, your venue choice. Okay. Venue. Does your venue have a view of nature? That would be fabulous, right? If your venue has the view of nature, then you just need food at this point, food and beverage. You're good to go if you have a rooftop situation. But this really depends on your venue depends on how it really determines, how much or how little of the natural elements you have to incorporate. If your venue has more walls than windows, you'll really want to play up the few windows that you have. You'll want to create some clear sight lines to that area, maybe set those tables up in that meandering way that flows people to see that. And then you'll also want to go super duper heavy inside with the natural inspired elements. Color and emotion. So this color is obviously a very important component when you're designing an event. And we've already talked about the natural hues and the calming colors. So, we definitely want to stay in that lane. But what if you love color? Hello? What if you love to pop a color? Well, then you pop that color. Now, do it sparingly, but you still want to be true to who you are. I would recommend using a tool like this palette that you have here that connects colors to emotions, because this can help you kind of vibe in with your base colors of your natural hues. And I would encourage you to take a look. Do you see your favorite color? Do you feel the feels? Does this correlate with what you feel when you wear your color or you see your color? So the color that I'm wearing now, I totally identify with the emotions that are listed. And my favorite color, since you asked, is black. And I must say I feel quite sophisticated and elegant when I put it on. I never intended to be mysterious, but I can imagine why that's there, and that makes total sense to me. But please feel free to throw in colors in accent areas. All right. I want to open your mind for a little bit, right? So let's look at some unique biophilic event decor ideas and activities. Okay, go with me. Open your mind, as I said. I see placemats. Images 1 and 2, I can already see a dinner plate set upon them. Think of a dinner plate, maybe about an inch and a half smaller in diameter, resting on this for a seated dinner. Fabulous. And the wreath. Did you know that wreaths represent eternal life? We should be using wreaths more than like a month or two out of the year because of its unending circular shape. that's the representative of eternal life. I love it. Not only is it functional, it's beautiful, and it has a great message. That is biophilic design. You are bringing all three with that one. The final image is the bigger leaf as a placemat. I love this idea. I would personally place a square plate on top of it just for the contrast and shape. I think that would look really nice. This is a 2-for-1, this image here, because I want you to pay attention to the plate and the cutlery. Those are biodegradable items. And if at your event you want to use disposable items, I encourage you to use biodegradable or compostable items. These are sustainable, they're eco-friendly, they're good for nature, and if you put them in the right bin at the end of the evening, they will be on their way to starting a new life, right? Photo op props. Look at this. Gorgeous. Our first image is a rose wall. So this is the backdrop for your pictures. This is giving. This is nature at its finest. I love all the shades of the light color shades of the roses. And then you have the green leaves represented as well. And the second image, this is dual functioning. This is not only can be used as a backdrop for photos, this is also a seating area. If you pay attention, if you look closely, it's a seat there with the cushion. I especially love this because of the asymmetrical greenery, how it's positioned. It's super heavy on one side and smaller on the other. That's very, very innovative. If someone recreates this, send me a picture. No, invite me to the event. All right, listen, no event is, but let's throw in a kick of biophilic inspiration here. Edible flowers. Most people only see edible flowers if you're at a Michelin rated restaurant, 5 stars or better. But you can incorporate this into your design as well. Why not? You're fabulous. Do your thing. These could be normal dishes, normal settings, but look at how the edible flowers elevates it. Look at how beautiful it is. This is aesthetically pleasing. And they're edible. Look at what it does for that cupcake. That's a normal crudité platter, sprinkled and garnished with edible flowers. And the cocktail, fabulous. Last but not least, I wanted to show you some activities at your event that are representative of biophilia. So on the left, we have a fabulous bloom bar. Your guests can grab a mason jar and create their own small bouquets. Is that not fabulous? It's so beautiful. On the right, we have what I call cupcake bouquets. This too can be an activity at your event. You would have a small preset plant holder with the cupcake rim, maybe some foam in the top in a circular position, and your guests can actually input the flowers into that shape, and it's a cupcake bouquet. Beautiful. So not only was your event decor biophilically inspired, you're sending home party favors with this sentiment. I love it. Thank you, guys. I hope that you all enjoyed the information. I hope that you took a few tips that you can use and disconnect from technology and reconnect with nature inside of your space, inside of your events, on purpose and with purpose. Thank you.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Oh, Miss Tiara, we really appreciate you coming. And first of all, I'm going to say fabulous for the rest of my life because it was so enlightening.
I do.
Right? Because you mentioned something so key. It's things that we've noticed. It's things that we feel. We just don't know what it's called. And like you gave us like such like clear examples, like when you said that there's an expert in the room, honey, they get it
I
because
get it.
they understand the connection between humans and nature, and they want to
Absolutely.
intentionally bring that into the space. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's incredible. So are there certain design elements that you have personally always been drawn to?
You know, my favorite as of recent are
Uh-huh.
green grass walls. And I love them
Mm.
because they're so versatile. Like you can do anything with them. People are doing everything with them. They
Yeah,
can be adorned with language, with verbiage, with the name of an event, with your name, with the
I love
backdrop.
that.
They are
Yeah,
champagne walls now.
yeah,
They are even seating charts, right? You walk up to a green grass wall and you grab your name for a seating chart at an event. So that's
yeah.
my favorite. So as of now, like this changes because trends change, but that's my
Mhm.
favorite right now because of its versatility.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And so how do you continue to like to expand your own learning and inspiration? Like where for this type of design, what are some of the favorite things you've been looking at these days?
You know, I jump in. There are some search words that I use and that other
Hmm.
people can use. You go and type into some place biophilia,
Hmm.
biophilic. You'll really it's a deep dive. There's so much information and it's ever changing. So I just try
Yeah.
to stay really current by paying attention to my colleagues that are in the industry, some of the vendors that I work with, and really doing deep dives. When I hear a term that's connected, I jump in. I want to know what's going on, what the trend is about.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much. We'll have more time for questions at the very end, but this will be a great time to segue into Teresa's presentation, which is about the materials themselves, right? Like getting into what type of materials we can use to really enhance that biophilic feel. So we thank you so much, Tiara. And hey, Teresa.
Hi, hello.
Hello. All right. So we're pumped. We're ready to learn from you. And please take it away.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, so I'll pick up on the material side of biophilic design. Now, so I design the exhibits for the United States Botanic Garden. So using plant-based natural materials really fits really well. So I spend a lot of my time researching materials to actually fabricate our exhibits out of. And I'll start off with kind of what I think about when I am looking for materials. So the first two things I'm thinking about are durability and sustainability. So durability is really important because the exhibits that we do will be up for usually, a year or two, and it's open to the public. So so there's a lot of hands on them, and so I really have to focus on durability and how long it will last and how it will age. The other thing I think about is sustainability, just being a good steward for the environment. So I think about, is it made from renewable resources? Has it been manufactured in a responsible way? And can it be reused or recycled at the end of its life? So I really try my best to avoid things ending up in the trash when exhibits are over. And now the more fun part is thinking about aesthetic value and texture. So those are two things I really think about a lot when it comes to selecting materials. So I think about, how do the materials harmonize with each other, and not matching, but like, do I have a lot, like some nice contrasting patterns, colors, shapes, sizes. So I'm thinking about how all those things work together. And then how does it make you feel? Like, this is a material, it doesn't have, not necessarily even just physically feel, but like, does it feel warm when you look at it? But also how it physically feels. Does it feel cool, soft, rough, hard, smooth? So really like adding dimensionality to the space, not just something you look at, but something that makes you use all your senses. Now, some of the materials you can see at the Botanic Garden that we've used if you're interested in seeing these materials in use. So if you visit our conservatory, the lobby in the conservatory, you can see a lot of the signposts were made from locally sourced black locust, which is it's a wood that grows really quickly and it's really hard and rot resistant. So this is a signpost that we made from black locust. And then in our lobby, there's some bamboo seating, which is also a sustainable material. Then our Cultivate exhibit in our West Gallery, you can see a lot of agricultural-based materials. Wheat, materials made from wheat, cotton, hemp, linoleum, and sunflowers. And then our upcoming exhibit, Fierce Flora, again, I'm trying to use a lot of plant-based materials. So there's going to be a lot of dried plants in that space. And then a new material that I'm working with is paper composite, which is essentially paper mixed with an eco resin that makes it super hard and a great surface for tables, countertops, things like that. So here are some images of the materials in our space. So this is an exhibit that we did several years ago that I used bamboo to fabricate most of the elements. All that kind of wood-looking material is bamboo, and then we reused some of those platforms as seating in our lobby. So you can see the seating in our lobby now. This is the Cultivate exhibit in our West Gallery. So linoleum is a material that I think people confuse with vinyl, which is not a plant-based material. So linoleum is a plant-based material, and it's incredibly durable. It's got a really soft feel to it. Comes in a ton of different colors. It can be refinished, so it's pretty durable. So it's a material that people don't use often. You see it a lot in industrial settings, like school floors, hospital floors, but you can push it further than kind of like the beige hospital floor look. So keep an open mind to that. So wheat board is a material that I use a lot in the Cultivate exhibit, and I left it exposed. I think typically people would paint it, but I thought it created a really natural, nice kind of agricultural look for the Cultivate exhibit. And then another interesting material I used is there's a company that takes plants, basically anything you can think of, and they make veneers out of it. So this veneer was made out of sunflower seeds. So I covered stools in sunflower seeds for the Cultivate exhibit. Then our upcoming exhibit, Fierce Flora, this is an example of a dried case display that we're going to have in the space. And then we're going to be using this paper composite material for all the surfaces, which you can see in this bathroom. I think it's just a really beautiful, like soft look, and it kind of, what I've seen is it wears kind of in a velvety way. So I've actually honestly never used it so this is the first time I'm using it, but from what I've seen, it looks really beautiful. And gives a really nice, soft, natural look. So materials you can use for your home that are pretty easy to find and affordable and very sustainable. These are some things to think about. So plants, just dried plants. Like this is lavender that I cut from outside. It smells great. So dried plants. Jute is a really awesome material. You can get baskets, rugs, and more. Wood is you can find a ton of things as wood. I love wood. So the only thing I would caution is to try to avoid tropical hardwoods like ipe if you can. Then cork is a really, I think, underused material. It's highly renewable, and it's super soft and just gives a really great texture. Linen is beautiful. I actually don't use linen that much, but I always think about it and I want to. But it gives such a beautiful organic soft look. So that's something that I think about a lot. Natural dyes is something you can think about because they give really nice organic textures and colors to things. You can, I like Tiara's color piece, and just like, you know, I mean, biophilic design tends to be kind of neutral, muted colors, but I think you can, I like this. I like these pops of colors, and with natural dyes, you can get really amazing pops of colors like indigo, these really deep, beautiful blues. With avocado, you can get these beautiful pinks. So natural dyes is a way to get those pops of colors, which I think are critical. From my aesthetic, it is, and I think Tiara's as well. But you got to do you. So linoleum, again, it's really soft, highly sustainable. You can get really nice neutral colors, but you can also get really beautiful vivid colors. Paper is a material that I love. Cardboard, just regular recycled paper. You can make some really amazing, beautiful things out of paper yourself, or you can find local artisans doing some really, really beautiful paper decor. So here's just some examples of jute. On the left, this was Courtney's idea to show the plant and then the products that come from them. I thought that was a really cool idea. So this is what jute looks like when it's being harvested, and then it goes through a process. A lot of times natural fibers, what they do is they cut the plant, and it's generally the stem or leaves, and they end up having to soak it for long periods of time, strip it, and then process it into fibers that then you can make these beautiful baskets or rugs with. This is cork, which I think is so cool. So cork comes from a type of oak tree, and what they do is they strip the trunk, the bark. Cork is the bark on a trunk, and then they make it into beautiful products, flooring. You can kind of make it into almost a fabric-y material. So this is a pillow. You can do all bulletin boards. I mean, it's kind of the standard, but you can do all kinds of interesting things. Handbags I've seen. I think cork is so beautiful. Let's see what else. And then the cork just grows back. So it's highly sustainable. This is linen, which I think is really beautiful. So you can use it as curtains, bedding. I mean, all kinds of things. Linen, and then linen is something you can do those natural dyes with, and get some really beautiful colors. So paper is my favorite because it's just really accessible. So this on the left, it's just paper flowers made from tissue paper and then attached to a stick, some twigs. So you could do like an arrangement like that. Then cardboard, these are just patterns cut into cardboard, which I thought was really beautiful. And then the paper composite. So you can do this. You can make countertops out of it, but they also make these cutting boards out of paper composite, which I think has a really beautiful look. And they are. I think I just saw, is it water resistant? It is. Again, I actually haven't worked a lot with it, but I have seen it kind of wear as countertops, and it kind of gets a more like matte finish as you use it, which I think is nice, but you kind of have to look at it and see if that's the look you're going for. So it is water resistant. I'm not sure if I said that, but it is. The resin that they bind the paper pulp with makes it water resistant. This is an example of linoleum, more neutral colors, but again, you can get really beautiful pops of color with linoleum, and you can do like cool inlays with it. I've seen really beautiful kind of plant, like leafy inlays done in linoleum. And then, let's see. Okay. And then where to find more materials. So there's local places. There's a place in Kensington that is a local green building suppliers. There's local craft people, which we actually feature in our programming. So like you can go on websites and, just find local craft people doing natural dyes, paper crafts. There's just all sorts of wonderful things happening, and you can do it yourself. So here's two links to demonstrations that we've done through our programming at the BG on cut flowers and natural dyes in your home. So and this is one of the beautiful kind of pinks that you can get with avocado. I just think it's kind of interesting that it comes out pink. So that's it.
Uh-oh, you couldn't hear me saying, hey, I am over here just like we're interacting in the chat. We are pumped because so many surprises happen in this presentation. So many little surprises. It is so cool. First of all, we are just all enamored by the way you were able to kind of pluck out all these different plant-based materials. There are so many ways for things to be beautiful and sustainable. And you've given us so many pointers on that. Thank you so much, Theresa. I was just talking in the chat. That's what took me so long to get on. I'm sorry. But I was talking in the chat about the linoleum, how my mind is still blown by the use of linoleum, just because it has had such a bad rep for being, the old school rollout kitchen floor stuff. But the way that we've seen it used, especially like in the exhibits at the USBG, is quite beautiful. It's quite beautiful. Were there any other like surprises that when you came across, you were like, whoa? What were some of your surprises in your research?
I mean, there's so many. So many super interesting materials. I think this company that is doing like that, those sunflower seeds, they're making these veneers out of sunflower petals, rose petals. So they have these like beautiful fragrances, coffee grounds, and it's all the waste products.
Yeah.
So like they're incredibly textural, fragrant, and actually durable. Like I said, I put them on seeding, and the sunflower seeds are not popping off. And it was incredibly easy to do as well. It was just adhesive backed. I just popped it on there, and it stood up. So I could spend hours.
Yes, we have, right? This is actually like a fruit of your hours of labor of getting this together for us. When you talk about paper composites, one of our participants would like to know, is it waterproof? How
it is? Yeah. They make it for the resin that they use to bind the pulp, makes it water resistant. So you can use it for countertops in your kitchen, countertops in your bathroom, for cutting boards. That's all I've seen so far being used for, but I'm sure they're going to start doing more.
Yeah. And I think that is a trend that we're seeing more of, right? Like the reduce, yes, but the reusable materials, those materials that, it used to be one thing, but now it's a new thing, and we hope that it'll be another new thing, and just continue. And you said that in your search for materials, you're also kind of thinking about the end of its life and not just how it's going to look. That is so compelling. Can you tell us a little bit more about your thought process when you are looking for materials?
Yeah. So it's not only, so I want to avoid throwing things in the trash at the end of an exhibit, because it would be a ton of material. Right. So I'm thinking, when I'm making something, how could it be used in the end? So we use these plant stands to display plants in our houseplant exhibit. And I'm thinking, well, these could be used again as seating in another part of the conservatory when it's over. Or we can, can we donate these to at the BG, where one of the processes for getting rid of things, reusing things, is we can offer them to DC public schools. So thinking about the forms of them. And then as far as materials go, what materials can be recycled? That's a big thing. So I actually use a lot of aluminum, because that material is really easily recycled. And that's not necessarily a biophilic material, but it's a material that helps me not throw things in the trash.
Yeah, yeah, because once you brought that up, as you know, we were doing the research and you were putting it together, it just did something. I'm like, you know, when we go shopping and we think about the things we want to bring in our house, a lot of times the first thing you think about is how it's going to make you feel, right? It's this is it. This is the biophilic. I mean, we don't use that word, but we want that feeling. We want that overall aesthetic. But what you also have brought us to is let's think about the end, right? The full life cycle, as Emily talked about, the full life cycle of these products. Okay, so now once it does its job here, right? What's another job that it can do? Can we reuse the parts? Can we think about how it's going to break down? Can we think about those things? And sometimes that would help us to make decisions that we are happy with, right? Thinking about our future selves. Yeah, that is amazing. The other questions that we had, and then we can bring Tiara back on shortly so we can ask questions for the both of you, because we have thoughts about how your roles intersect and all the things. But is there some sort of material that you haven't tried yet, but you would really, really want to try, like maybe in the exhibits or at home? Anything you've been looking at, eyeballing?
For materials.
Yeah.
So, you know, what I'm really interested in is cardboard and paper. I've been looking at a lot of artisans that do cardboard and paper things.
Yeah.
There's this really interesting method of making paper mache where you soak cardboard and get it into like this sloppy goop and then mix it with
I remember that. Yeah.
Elmer's glue. And then you can make any, like these really beautiful organic shapes. And I've seen artists doing really amazing things with it. They call it paper clay. So I've seen people do mirrors, these like really beautiful organic shaped mirrors out of it. Or I found this guy who was doing seats, like seating out of this material. It's basically a at home paper composite. It's not going to be water resistant like the store-bought paper composites, but you can make all different types of shapes and things. So I think paper and cardboard are something that I think about a lot.
Yeah, that's awesome. What are some of the, before we bring Tiara back on, what are some keywords that we can maybe Google? Since, I mean, we would love to like give a shout out to all of the amazing local companies that you've been using, but we can't because, you know, government. But what are some keywords we may be able to use as we're looking for these things for our own home?
So, so local green building or green building businesses are a great place because you can go in and see the materials. So Googling green building suppliers, and then
building suppliers.
And then paper craft or plant-based materials, just linoleum, just Google linoleum.
Just Google linoleum.
Look, and then they'll have like sites that sell it will have inspiration pages. And then once you start Googling this stuff, Google will know who you are and start sending you these things.
They will, won't they? I mean, you know, if it's going to be an algorithm, make it work for you.
Yeah.
You know, if
they know me.
Do it.
I don't even Google stuff anymore. They find me. And
that makes so much sense. I know Tiara is backstage here. Whenever you're ready to come on, we can do a full Q&A just in case folks have more questions here. And I know that they do. They've been giving a lot of suggestions. Hey, Tiara. They've been giving a lot of suggestions here in the chat, especially for teachers. You all have folks' brains really turning, especially now. You know, it's about to be Labor Day weekend. The folks that may celebrate, maybe going to these different places and being like, a biophilic design elements.
Yes, they're going to drive someone crazy pointing them out now. You will see them everywhere. Forget the algorithm. Your life is about to be in shambles. Your actual life.
Exactly. They'll be picking up stuff. Well, I wonder what this is made of. Well, have you thought about how you're going to recycle this at the end? Like, oh, the conversations may be much different this weekend, but very cool. That is what we wanted. So questions. Have you all, you, Tiara and Theresa, have you all like worked together at the USBG? Do your roles collide in any way?
You know what? We've collaborated on one project so far. Teresa, you remember? So we have wonderful volunteers at the USBG, and we have an annual celebration for them to thank them. And in my preparation for that, Teresa brought to life an idea that I had for selfie stations and cardboard cutouts for selfie pictures. They were huge. They were pretty large. Like 4 people could fit in them. And I gave Teresa like kind of vague idea because this is her jam, and she created fabulous. We got tons of pictures. It had, volunteer appreciation 2024 on it. It had flowers coming out of it. Like, it's an open space, but the flowers were like freestanding inside and on the outside of the frame, right? And people are holding them. So we had that collaboration so far. As Theresa kind of mentioned, we're at the end of an old exhibit. We have a new exhibit coming in. So Theresa is like bonkers booked. So hopefully when her schedule clears, we can do a little more collaborative work.
Yeah. Theresa, you remember that? Teresa's like, listen.
That was a fun project, I think. I thought that was a really fun idea. And it was totally biophilic too. You know, I mean, I got to create these frames with plants and flowers on them.
Yeah.
So and it was so easy working with Tiara too.
Yes, this is so incredible. So how have, since you all, and this will kind of be our last question to wrap up. I cannot believe it is almost 1:00 already.
Right.
But how has this biophilic leap, how has it kind of changed how you interact with plants? How has that been for you as far as how you interact with plants, your thought about plants, when you see a plant? How's it impacted you?
For me, it's much more intentional now. I mean, I already started to change when I got my new job at the USBG, right? I started to already receive the vibes that the plants in the office would give me when I'm just walking around, when I'm taking a stroll through the conservatory in between, computers, dates and meetings and so on and so forth. So I already had that going on. And now jumping head first into the biophilic aspect of it and being really intentional with it, it's bringing it into my world, like on a deeper level. Like, I'm involving my family. I'm telling everyone, I'm driving people crazy, and I am seeking out those locations, those rooftop cafes and those coffee shops that really, really hone in on that trend. Like, I'm looking for these places on purpose now. I'm like setting up events there myself, like dinner dates or lunch dates. I'm going right to the places where I can get good food and good vibes.
Nice. Theresa, how about you?
Yeah.
Because I can imagine the museum worlds that you come from and the garden world probably feel a little different.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, I think it's the same as Tiara. I'm thinking even more, trying to be more intentional about everything. And I mean, when you walk outside in the place we work, you feel really good, right? You know, I'm trying to be more intentional about I work in a basement.
You love your basement.
I mean, just you walk outside through a garden and it feels so beautiful. So be even trying to bring that more to the gallery spaces and in my own home too.
Yeah.
So I'm just really thinking more intentionally about nature and how much better it makes you feel. And
and just like really finding those spaces. So even those who are like on our participant for our virtual program today, go to your local garden. Just go for no reason at all, just because it is there and just
Yep.
allow yourself to be connected in nature. And then suddenly you'll have these wonderful ideas of how you can kind of bring some of that into your space. Some of us are already really good at it, and now we have a name for it. So
Yep.
bravo. Bravo. Thank you all so much for your expertise. Thank you for sharing in such a fun and exciting program today. Participants, thank you so much for attending today. To learn about our future online program offerings, please visit usbg.gov/programs. Also note you'll receive a brief survey in your inbox for this program. We really appreciate your feedback. Thanks for sharing your afternoon with us. Tiara and Theresa, thank you again. Thank you, Emily.
Thanks, Em.
You all have a wonderful afternoon and enjoy your weekend.
Thanks, Courtney.
All
Bye,
right.
guys.